guys, we're here to discuss the impact of chemical spills in the marine environment. Sample chemical spills from ship in history and discuss its ecological, environmental, and financial damage caused. So first, what is a chemical spills? A chemical spill refers to the unintended release of hazardous substances into the marine environment, including water, air, or land. These spills can be small or large and may involve toxic, flammable, corrosive, or reactive chemicals. When they occur in marine environments, they can cause severe ecological, economic, and health-related problems. So, what is chemical spill? So, a chemical spill is the accidental release of a chemical substance into the environment. This can happen in various settings, including industrial sites, laboratories, transportation systems, and healthcare facilities. The severity of a chemical spill depends on the type and amount of chemical release, as well as the location and environmental condition. Chemical spill in the marine environments represent a significant threat to both ecological health and human well-being. There are numerous sources that contribute to marine chemical spills like shipping accidents, including collisions and groundings, are a major cause. Improper storage and handling of chemical on vessels, as well as industrial discharges and accidental releases from land-based sources, also contribute. The types of chemicals involved are diverse, encompassing oil, fuels, industrial chemicals, and hazardous substances.
Water contamination. Toxic chemicals dissolve or float on water, polluting marine environments. Chemical spills directly introduce harmful substances into water sources, rendering them unsafe for consumption and other uses. This contamination can affect both surface water, like rivers, lakes, oceans, and groundwater, which is a primary source of drinking water for many communities. The severity depends on the type and quantity of chemical spill, as well as the surrounding environment. Some chemicals are persistent, meaning they remain in the environment for extended periods, causing long-term contamination. Contaminated water can cause various health problems in humans, ranging from gastrointestinal issues to severe illnesses like cancer. It also affects aquatic life, potentially leading to death or long-term health problems. Furthermore, contaminated water can impact agriculture, making it unsafe to irrigate crops and potentially leading to food contamination. Habitat destruction, coral reef, mangroves, and seagrass beds are damages, affecting biodiversity. Chemical spills can cause significant habitat destruction. The chemicals can directly kill plants and animals, disrupting the delicate balance of ecosystems. Oil spills, a common type of chemical spill, coat the fur of marine mammals and feathers of birds, hindering their ability to regulate body temperature and leading to death. Oil spills can also smother benthic organisms, those living on the seafloor, and damage sensitive habitats like coral, reef, and mangroves. The long-term effect can be devastating, leading to diversity loss and ecosystem collapse. Even seemingly small spills can have significant cumulative effects over time. Poisoning of marine species, fish, mammals, and seabirds suffer from exposure to hazardous chemicals. Many chemicals are toxic to marine life. Ingestion or contact with these toxins can lead to immediate death or long-term health problems. Bioaccumulation and biomagnification concentrate toxins in the food chain, impacting top predators including humans. Fish can suffer heart deformities, sea turtles, liver damage, and other species hormonal imbalances. The consequence of chemical spills extend beyond immediate impacts. Long-term effects include ecosystem disruption, reduced biodiversity, and potential human health risk through contaminated food chains.
What is chronic health effect of chemical exposure? Prolonged exposure to chemicals, even at low levels, can have serious and long-lasting consequences for human health. Example of this is increased cancer risk. Long-term exposure to certain chemicals significantly raises the likelihood of developing various cancers. The specific type of cancer depends on the chemical involved in the duration or level of exposure. Neurological disorders. Prolonged exposure can damage the nervous system, increasing the risk of neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and other cognitive impairments. The effect can manifest differently depending on the chemical and individual susceptibility. Consumption hazard of contaminated seafood. Seafood poisoning. Consuming seafood contaminated with toxins. Example, heavy metals, biotoxin, can cause acute poisoning leading to symptoms like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and even paralysis in severe cases. Long-term health issues. Chronic exposure to contaminants through seafood consumption can result in long-term health problems, including organ damage, developmental issue, especially in children, and increased cancer risk. Airborne exposure hazards. Respiratory problems. Inhaling toxic fumes can irritate the respiratory system, causing immediate symptoms like coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. Long-term exposure can lead to chronic respiratory disease such as asthma, bronchitis, and emphysema. Skin problems. Toxic airborne substances can cause various skin problems, ranging from irritation and rashes to more severe conditions like dermatitis and skin cancer. The severity depends on the specific toxin and the duration intensity of exposure. What is long-term ecological damage? It refers to the lasting negative impact on ecosystem resulting from human activities or natural disasters. This impact can persist for decades, centuries, or even longer, significantly altering the structure, function, and biodiversity of affected environment. Persistence of pollutants. Certain chemicals are highly persistent in the environment, meaning they don't break down easily and can remain in soil, water, and air for decades, even centuries. This leads to continuous contamination and long-term ecological disruption. Bioaccumulation and biomagnification. Persistent pollutants can accumulate in living organisms like bioaccumulation and increase in concentration as they move up the food chain. Biomagnification. This poses a severe threat to top predators like humans who consume contaminated seafood. Habitat destruction. Pollution can directly damage habitat, reducing biodiversity and disrupting the delicate balance of ecosystem. This can lead to a loss of species and the overall decline of ecosystem health. What is loss of tourism revenue? It refers to a decline in the income generated from tourism activities. This decrease can stem from various factors significantly impacting local economies reliant on tourism for jobs and business sustainability. Reduced tourist appeal. Polluted beaches, contaminated water, and unhealthy marine ecosystem are unattractive to tourists. This results in decreased visitors numbers, impacting local economies that rely on tourism. Negative publicity. News and social media reports about pollution can deter potential tourists, creating a negative image that is difficult to overcome. Closure of tourist sites. Severe pollution may force the closure of beaches, parks, and other tourist attractions, leading to significant revenue loss for business and local governments. The rehabilitation process can also be costly and time-consuming.
Example of an incident involving a chemical spill is the Sanqing oil tanker spill in 2018 at East China Sea. An Iran oil tanker The Sanchi collided with another vessel. The tanker caught fire and ultimately sank in the East China Sea. It was carrying approximately 136 tons of condensate oil, highly toxic and ultralight crude oil. And its impact to marine environment is ecological damage. The toxic condensate oil proved lethal to a wide range of marine life, including fish, plankton, and marine mammals. The nature of condensate oil, which quickly dissolved in water, made traditional containment and cleanup effort virtually impossible. Airborne pollutants released from the burning oil had detrimental effect on both marine and coastal air quality. The spill significantly impact deep sea ecosystem with potential long-term consequences that are still not fully understood, and its environmental consequences. The marine and coastal air was polluted by the smoke and fumes from the burning oil. The deep sea environment suffered damage, the full extent and duration of which remain unknown. Financial losses. The cleanup operation were severely hampered by the ongoing fire and volatile chemical nature of the condensate oil, making them extremely difficult and likely very costly. The fishery in the region experienced losses due to the death of marine life and potential contamination. The shipping industry in the area may have faced disruption and economic repercussions.
Empty Heaven oil spill, 1991 Italy. Accident. The empty heaven of a fully loaded oil tanker exploded off the coast of Italy. It expelled 45 million gallons of crude oil into the Mediterranean Sea. The Empty Heaven oil spill, occurring on April 11, 1991, stands as the largest oil spill in the Mediterranean Sea history. The Cyprus fledged very large crude carrier formerly named Amoco Milford Heaven exploded and sank off the coast of Genoa, Italy, while unloading Iranian crude oil. The cause of explosion remains controversial, while human error was ultimately cited. Allegation of poor ship maintenance and a failure to address damage sustained during the Iran and Iraq war were also raised. The ship owners were initially charged with manslaughter but later acquitted after multiple trials. This acquittal sparked significant outreach among environmental groups and unions. Ecological damage. Thousands of marine species including fish and seabirds were poisoned. Coral reefs and sea grass beds were severely damaged. Environmental consequence. Oil pollution is spread across hundreds of meters of coastal and toxic substance lingered in the water for years. The financial losses, cleanup costs reached $400,000. The tourism and fishing industry suffered significantly financial costs. Another environmental impact, coastal contamination. Over 25 miles of Italian coastline were coated with oil with sediments. They're up to 1 foot thick on beach. And the other one is marine life. 43% decline in fish population occurred in affected areas, and 100 birds are oiled. The last one is long-term population. Oil continued leaking for 12 years, impacting French and Monaco.
In tank number 2 in the bow area, there was an explosion that tore away the sides of the ship. Parts of the steel covering were hurled into the sea over hundreds of meters. The days and nights that followed, the first 90 meters of the forecastle was a swimming torch. The obituary was announced the 14th of April at 10:15. The supertanker Haven from this moment on became an offering of the sea. The seafloor of Aranzano acquired the ship and consequently became the guardian of the wreck. After an exhausting and tormented life, it became the cradle in which the ship found its rest and serenity. In the last few years, a visit to the wreck of the former supertanker is a must for the divers halfway around the world. Even if the bow area of the Haven is gone, even today it has a magnificent size with its length of approximately 250 meters and a width of 50 meters. Its height can be compared to a building with 18 floors. It's not a coincidence that the tanker was nominated the Queen of the Mediterranean Sea.
That concludes our discussion. I hope you learned. Thank you for listening and watching.